It's Friday, April 4th, 2014, and let's talk about what happened this week over at xdadevelopers.com. After a very long week, I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better, even though I may not sound entirely better yet, so thank you guys so much for your concern. Let's go ahead and get on with the news. First up in device update news, I've mentioned in several videos over the last couple of months that the LG G2 has started receiving KitKat updates on various and sundry carriers. Well, as of this week, the Sprint variant of the G2 has received its over-the-air update to KitKat. It comes in the form of a 618 megabyte update, and if you have not received it over the air yet, you can always check the forum. There is a link, and you can take that and sideload it using ADB at any time. But what's very cool about this update is, at the same time as posting it, LG also went ahead and released the open source files for the LG G2 on Sprint. So if you want to see what makes it tick and open it all up and look inside of it, take a look over at LG's Open Source Center. And speaking of open source files being released, the HTC One M8, the 2014 edition, just came out not too long ago. In fact, it was just announced not too long ago, and HTC has already come out and released the open source files for the M8 for all 16 different variants of the device, including every US carrier, even including Verizon, which is the one I've got in my hands here that I'm currently testing. So if you're looking to get your hands on the M8 and want to get started developing on it, or if you want to take the stuff from the M8 and make it work on something else maybe, the kernel and the framework files are now available through HTC's dev site. Moving right along, another device got a KitKat port this week and was kind of interesting. The Sony Ericsson Xperia X8, a device that's about 3 years old now, received a port, and the thanks for this should go to the Android ARM v6 team as well as XDA senior member AFI 1982, who actually ported OmniROM over to work on this device. However, it should be said there are going to be some bugs, some things that aren't quite working right, like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and GPS and the camera and some other things like that. If you have this device and you're interested in trying to get KitKat running on it though, head on over to their forum thread, just get some more information on it, see what's working, see what's not. Things can change at a moment's notice, so just keep an eye out on that. And speaking of Sony devices, earlier this year, Sony unveiled the Xperia Z2, and while it really hasn't been talked about all that much since it's been released, or at least I haven't seen all that much on the portal about it, XDA recognized developer Doomlord managed to go ahead and get it rooted. But basically, to root the device, you unlock the bootloader, you flash his kernel over to it, you're rooted. Done. However, keep in mind if you're going to do this, this is just coming out of the portal post. This is not personal experience or anything, but I've heard it in the past. There's apparently not a way to back up the TA keys, the DRM keys on the Z2. So if you wipe this out, anything that's relying upon those DRM keys, any of the Sony specific proprietary software that relies on having those DRM keys is not going to work anymore. Apparently it doesn't affect the camera, but there are probably going to be some other things that'll be affected by this, so just keep that in mind. If you're planning to move off of Sony's proprietary stuff and move onto something stock Android, shouldn't be a problem. At least I'd hope not. But one way or another, do make sure that you're prepared. Read up on the forum thread, get all the details, you know the gist. And the last story I wanted to mention, we're going to go off completely into left field. Microsoft had a conference this week called Build. And there was a story that hit the portal about it because really we do keep an eye on Windows Phone and Windows itself just to see what's coming. And as far as the end user is concerned, they said some very interesting things. Windows Phone 8.1 is coming. They talked quite a bit about Cortana, the new digital assistant type thing that they're building to compete with Siri and Google Now. They even talked about some updates coming to Windows 8.1, things like the start menu actually coming back. I know a lot of people were really upset about that. Personally, I didn't miss it all that much, but whatever. And additionally, and I found this one kind of interesting, unified apps. Having the same kind of experience across phone and desktop and laptop and tablet with just convergence. If that doesn't sound familiar, that's exactly what the pitch of Ubuntu phone/desktop has been. So very cool to see Microsoft seeing that as a good idea and moving in that direction, because that means that the guys behind Ubuntu Phone, Ubuntu Touch are kind of doing the right thing, right? Additionally, today they actually talked a lot about the enterprise side of things, and I haven't seen a portal post go up about that yet. If you're interested in any of that stuff, there's definitely a lot of information out there on the web about it. There's been some major updates to Microsoft's Azure platform and Visual Studio and all sorts of the developer tools like that. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely be on the lookout for that. I don't know if it will see it on the XDA portal or not, but there's, like I said, there's a lot of other sites on the net that will have info about it. And to wrap things up, 3 other videos were posted to XDA Developer TV this week. First up, TK did another XDA Exposed Tuesday talking about Cool Tool. Then I did a video review of the Mad Catz Mojo game console. And then TK did another Android app review talking about live weather. So to see the links for any of those videos or any of the other stories that I talked about, make sure to check out the video description down below. You can also find the links to my YouTube channels at the bottom of the video description as usual, so feel free to subscribe to those if you're interested. Also, feel free to hit that like button down below the video if you like this video, and subscribe to the XDA Developers channel if you're interested in following our content here. As always though, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.